Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to completely deconstruct the mechanics of modern consumer debt. We often think of debt as a personal failure, right? Or maybe some kind of a moral shortcoming. But what we're going to reveal today is how consumer debt is actually designed to function exactly like a highly successful, optimized business model. And specifically, we're going to focus on why bad debt happens so incredibly fast.
Think about it. How do you actually build a $100,000 mountain of debt by age 22? Well, in our source material, we encountered exactly this. A 22-year-old with over $55,000 on a car, $37,000 in credit cards, and just a relatively tiny student loan. Now, this isn't just a simple lack of willpower. It's a mathematical trap, and it's one that snaps shut with terrifying speed. So today, we're going to dissect exactly how that trap works.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for The Explainer. We'll start with the psychology of fast debt, then look at the minimum payment trap, driving into a debt crater, the buy now, pay later illusion, how you are recurring revenue, and finally, breaking the debt cycle. Section 1, the psychology of fast debt, or how emotional spending traps us early.
To really understand why bad debt happens so fast, we have to look at the starting line. We found this unbelievable yet very real anecdote in the sources. Get this, an 18-year-old got a credit card and immediately maxed it out to $4,000, paying for all her friends to go out. And she actually called her mom to brag about it. She legitimately thought debt was an achievement, like she was leveling up in a video game. This gamification of money accelerates the debt spiral incredibly fast. When you mix financial illiteracy with frictionless, tap-to-pay spending, a catastrophic hole can be dug in literally a matter of weeks. All right, moving on to Section 2, the minimum payment trap, the brutal math of borrowing. And this right here brilliantly illustrates the cold, hard arithmetic of why you get trapped so fast. Let's say you have a $2,000 balance on a credit card at a pretty typical 22% interest rate. Your minimum payment might be $40. But out of that $40, a whopping $36 goes straight to interest. Only $4 actually touches the principal debt. You're paying $40 a month just to move the needle by $4. This is exactly why debt happens fast and lingers forever. You're effectively paying a subscription fee just to maintain your own past mistakes. Bottom line, money isn't energy, it's just math. Which leads us to this incredibly self-aware quote from a young professional in our sources. She actually makes a decent salary, but she lives on a strict $250 grocery budget. Why? Because her entire paycheck is completely swallowed by credit card minimums. As she perfectly puts it, past me spent so much of that damn money, so now current me is paying off what I spent. Every single dollar of interest you pay is a dollar your future self earned, but never gets to touch. Section 3, driving into a debt crater. The truth about modern car loans. Now, if credit cards are the trap, cars are the crater. $770, that is the average new car payment in America right now. People are financing depreciating assets on 72 or even 84-month terms. Those are lengths that used to be reserved for buying a house, not a car. But what's really terrifying here is the hidden opportunity cost of that payment. If you were to take that average $770 and instead invest it at an 8% return over a 40-year working life, it compounds to roughly $2.4 million. Seriously, just think about that for a second. A monthly payment for a piece of metal that loses value the very second you drive it off the lot is effectively costing you a multi-million-dollar retirement. The sources are just full of vivid stories of people destroying their wealth for cars they absolutely cannot afford. We have an 18-year-old out there doing DoorDash just to cover half her paycheck, going to a $46,000 financed Jeep. We see a young woman who agreed to a staggering 25% interest rate simply because the Honda Accord was, quote, cute. And here's the brutal reality of how fast this ruins you. When that cute car gets repossessed, the debt doesn't just magically disappear. They sell it at auction, and you still owe the difference. In her case, she completely destroyed her credit score, lost the car, and still owes over $7,000 for a vehicle she will literally never drive again. Now, let's see how this all builds into what the sources call debt lasagna. Honestly, this is a masterpiece of terrible financial decisions. So, a buyer starts with $15,000 in credit card debt. Then, they buy a new car, rolling the negative equity, meaning the money they still owed on their old car, right into the new car loan. And for the grand finale, they put the down payment for this massive new loan on a credit card at 25% interest. It's 3 layers of high-interest debt, all compounding simultaneously. This is exactly how bad debt snowballs completely out of control in the blink of an eye. Section 4, the buy now, pay later illusion. financing our daily lives. The debt machine has evolved, you guys. It's no longer just about big purchases. It's completely infiltrated our daily survival. Almost a third, 29% of people using buy now, pay later apps are using them just to finance their groceries. The sources highlight a dental hygienist named Renata, who literally uses 4 different payment apps on a Sunday night just to figure out how she can afford to buy chicken on a Tuesday. By completely removing the friction of spending, these apps mask high-risk debt as mere convenience, allowing you to dig a deep financial hole in mere seconds, right at the checkout counter. Which brings us to the best rapid-fire advice in this entire explainer, courtesy of a nurse who went $30,000 into debt buying designer purses just to look like an influencer. She says, and I quote, "Stop clarnying, stop affirming, stop afterpaying. Going into debt to build an image is such a modern trap. The thrill lasts a moment, the video makes $0, but the purchase, that lives on your statement at 25% interest for years." Section 5. You are recurring revenue. The business of keeping you in debt. Okay, now we're going to execute a major paradigm shift. We've looked at the personal finance side. Now let's look at the business strategy of the lenders. In the business world, as our sources point out, the most successful, wealthy companies are these boring businesses built on recurring revenue. Think commercial cleaning contracts or software as a service. You do the hard work to acquire a customer once, and then they pay you every single month, automatically. So the crucial point is, this is exactly how banks view your consumer debt. To a financial institution, your rolling credit card balance isn't a problem to be solved. It is their most successful product. Your minimum payment is simply the banking industry's version of a highly profitable monthly software-as-a-service subscription. The system isn't broken when you're trapped making minimum payments. No, the system is working exactly as designed. The sources highlight how businesses make absolute fortunes renting out heavy construction equipment. The contractor pays for access to the tool without owning it, which provides the rental company with pure recurring profit. Well, when you carry bad debt, you are the contractor. You're just renting money from the bank. You pay for the access to the lifestyle, but you own none of it. The bank owns the asset, and you provide their recurring revenue. Section 6. Breaking the debt cycle. Flipping the script on the math. To break free, you absolutely must avoid the fake solutions. Behold, the consolidation trap. One woman in the sources proudly announced she got a consolidation loan to pay off her credit cards, but she didn't close or freeze the cards. So what happened? She filled the freshly emptied credit cards right back up, stacking a brand new $23,000 loan on top of new credit card debt, ultimately hitting a grand total of $126,000 in debt. A loan simply cannot fix a behavioral problem. So, how do we actually stop being the recurring revenue engine for financial institutions? First off, acknowledge that money is strictly math, not a mindset or energy you manifest. Second, as one person confessed, stop spending the salary of your imaginary future rich self today. Third, read the truth in lending disclosure before signing anything. Know the real cost. And finally, automate your savings so the money leaves your checking account before you even have a chance to be tempted to spend it. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to take away from this explainer. Look at the math of your own life and ask yourself, are you building a system to generate your own compounding wealth? Or have you allowed yourself to become just another lucrative monthly subscription in someone else's? It's time to flip the script. Stop renting the lifestyle and start owning the math. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.